We are facing a different kind of insecurity. When we were in power as governors, the problem we were facing was Boko Haram. Now it's much more than Boko Haram. We need to address those issues.
But are you worried that maybe Nigerians are not seeing it from the government's perspective, how you are tackling some of these problems? Do you, because you've raised the matter that Nigerians are hungry. Are you worried as a minister in the federal government that people may not be seeing what you are doing to fix, especially this issue of insecurity?
Let's deal with these issues. Now, when we came to power, not much more. A lot of things have been done in agriculture, but we improved on it. Don't forget, we not only improved on agriculture, we improved on the logistics of moving this produce from the different locations to the market. So that's why you can talk about railways. We improved on power. We improved on the roads. We may not have done the best because we don't just have the resources, but we are certainly not sleeping. The president won't allow you as a minister to sleep in your office or sleep at home if you don't fix the problems that are confronting the country as it pertains to your ministry. The president won't do that. But the basic thing is you don't have enough resources to get it to a point where the people will feel that now they have the resources to feed themselves. So what is confronting the government today is not just insecurity alone. It's the fact that we must provide the people an opportunity to be able to create wealth for themselves. The past governments created that opportunity. Maybe they did, but not enough until we inherited it. And we cannot find the solution to these problems in 1 year, in 2 years, in 4 years, or in 8 years. It's a process that will be gradual, that you have to implement. And then as you create wealth, as you create the economic growth, that's how you reduce poverty, that's how you reduce insecurity.
Let me take you to the issues of
Hello and welcome to Today in the News on Vanguard Live. My name is Precious Chukudi and I have with me my co-host
Damilola Bushaki.
How are you, Damilola?
Very fine. Of course,
it's
the first day of December. We all have
of
to
course.
be
You know, and we just before now we were listening to that, oh my December, and then it's so funny because we are in the month of December and then people just tend to feel like, to an extent they feel happy.
Yeah,
even
that's
though
it.
there's a lot of problems going on in the world and even in the country, and then we just can't help ourselves. But then let's just move straight to the front pages of the papers. We're starting off with Vanguard, and our main headline says BORNO Massacre, why Nigeria's at mercy of terrorists. Lai Mohammed says the writer says Zulum asks federal government to engage mercenaries, lists other ways to clear insurgents, take fight to insurgents. Buhari tells military, sends chief of staff to Borno. Military disputes UN report, insists 43 farmers killed. Civilian informant sabotaging operation in northeast. Security operatives selling weapons to Boko Haram. Donald Duke alleges. Senate Minority Caucus urges federal government to wake up in fight against Boko Haram. On page 7, tackling hunger, poverty more important than restructuring, says Amechi. Stories above, we have 13% derivation. Militants bid to stop South-South governor split stakeholders. You can see that on page 12. On page 8, Biden set to appoint Nigerians-born Adeyemo U.S. Deputy Treasury Secretary. On page 8, federal government plans debt restructuring. On page 11, looting of CBN, we can vouch for Gowon, Clark, Adibayo, Hodo, Bitra says. On page 19, CBN liberalizes use of diaspora remittances. And stories beneath, we have insecurity. APC hasn't done well. Senate spokesperson says that on page 10. And still on page 10, we have UI Senate appoints DVC as AGVC. On page 7, 1% of travelers into Nigeria test positive to COVID-19 daily, says PTF. And lastly, on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper, we have a 554 million naira grass cutting scandal. EFCC rearranges ex-SGA Babachir Lawal. You can see that on page 8. Also, we have a photo story of First Bank wins award. You can see the internal communications and content management of First Bank and all the executives. And away from the Vanguard, we go straight to the Punch newspaper.
And on the front page of the Punch newspaper, we have a BORNO massacre. ACF, PDP others attack federal government. Presidency offers excuses, blames farmers. So something is wrong somewhere. Truth can't be hidden forever. That's coming from Arewa. Killed farmers did not get military clearance to farm, says Presidency. Also, CSO says explanations provocative, height of government irresponsibility. You can see that story on page 2. Also below on page 24, we have APC membership registration. Revalidation begin December 12th. Ex-bank manager Walker jailed for forgery, 11.65 million naira ATM fraud. And you can see that on pages 4 and 5. Oyetola, I shot ego to resolve Lautech crisis. That's coming from Makinde. Court sentences three non-abductors to death in Ondo. Also, correctional service suspends controller over job. You can see that on page 7. And also on the front page, we have a photo story of escaped Edo inmates as still three others still 4 cars. You can see that on page 39. And now stories above. National Assembly may pass 2021 budgets at December 10. And I think that's coming from Lawal. Also, you can see that on page 31. On page 9, federal government warns against Christmas carols, tells Nigerians abroad to stay away. That's interesting. On page 33, also, forex scarcity bites other. CBN amends diaspora remittance law. And here we have security agencies arrest Mina in Niger Republic. Lastly, on the front page of the Punch, we have EFCC rearranges ex-SGF Lawal for 544 million naira grass cutting fraud. And you can see that on page 22. Funny, there's a lot of reactions on that. But of course, from there we'll move straight to The Nation.
And on The Nation newspaper, we have main headlines. Let's battle Boko Haram with mercenaries. The writer says Buhari gives a marching order to wipe out insurgents. A bandit kills 7 farmers, abduct 30 in Katsina. Stories above. El-Rufai clears governors of blame on insecurity. You can see that on page 8 and on page 35. Umai after my life says I'm ex-SGF writes DSS and IG. Also on page 10 and 34, we have ABC begins membership registration December 12th. Also Lautech Oshun winner, says Makinde. And on page 4, we have Ghana polls Akufo-Addo Mahama to sign a peace pact. And lastly, on the front page of The Nation, CBN okays dollar collection for diaspora remittances. All right, that's all we can take on the front pages of the papers this morning. We're moving into the newspaper analysis segment. Stay with us right back after this break.
I had to contact the people in the theater, right from the commander, or the commanders, theater commander, the GOC, and then the media operations officer that was there, and people that were even on the ground, to give me rather the details, so that because I have to respond, I knew it was going to come up, particularly that is coming from the United Nations, and not, like they say, a source that does not want to be identified. This is a source that identified itself, that look over 110 specifically. And I asked them what happened, and they now gave me a synopsis, a story of what happened. When the governor was to go, when people they have, recovered the dead, they requested and that the troops must be on ground. Of course, the troops had to move in there, and they assisted in counting, and they counted 43. Of course, the other people that they interviewed was that since some people ran into the bush, some people ran away, and they started coming back and trickling in. As at 2 p.m. yesterday, I called them, And they got back to me at about 7 p.m. yesterday, still counting, looking for if they will recover, and we call it exploitation. After action review. After action review, as I speak to you, up to when I came here was still on. Probably we may count up to the figure he gave in the future. But as it is, up to when I came here, what we have counted with the locals here is still 43. And we are hoping that we don't get beyond that. And then even if there are people that ran into the bush like missing in action, they should come back alive. So that is the situation, the real situation. I did not sleep on. We had to follow it because this is very, very relevant. If it was somebody that say, look, don't mention my name, an informant that does not want to be named, normally we know that nowadays we have a lot of people that have turned themselves into journalists. They just give information that they are not requested to. They are just busybody all over the whole place. But now United Nations saying that, so we need to follow it squarely, and we are following it. And we come out with what the situation is at. Before I came into the studio, is still that figure.
Alright, welcome back. You're just joining us still today in the news on Vanguard Live. My name is Precious Stupid, and I have with me my co-host. And we'll be moving straight to the newspaper analysis segment, where we'll be talking about the stories. This is the BORNO Massacre, why Nigeria's at mercy of terrorists, Lai Mohammed. And in the wake of the massacre of the 43 farmers in Borno State, the Minister of Information, Culture and Tourism, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, said yesterday that Nigeria is currently at the mercy of terrorists because the country is being denied access to needed weapons to fight the insurgents, despite efforts to do so. This is even as Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum gave the federal government 6 recommendations on how to win the war against Boko Haram and Islamic State West Africa province, ISWAP, insurgents terrorizing the northeastern region of the country. The military high command also disputed reports by the United Nations that 110 civilians were killed by Boko Haram in Saturday's massacre of farmers in the Jere local government area of Borno State, insisting that only 43 of the farmers died while several others were still missing. It also expressed frustration that some locals in the northeast are declining to provide useful information to security agencies. It will be recalled that Boko Haram insurgents on Saturday beheaded no fewer than 43 farmers at Zambari in Jere local government area of Borno State and placed their severe heads on their back. Also speaking of the massacre in Borno yesterday, Bashiru said the slain farmers ought not to be in their farms without clearance from the military. He told BBC that though the military is in full control of all parts of Borno, the farmers and residents ought to get clearance before visiting certain areas. He blamed the farmers whom he said failed to do due diligence by first obtaining clearance before visiting their farms. This whole story, it resurrects a whole lot of things inside of me, and that's the fact that how do you say that these farmers are supposed to take some form of clearance before going to their farms? I mean, these people need to farm to definitely eat, and all these things. They're saying that they need to obtain clearance, but according to what he said he had asked the military if, they were giving clearance to go, and they said no, they didn't give them clearance. But that does not still quantify the reason why people were killed. The reason why innocent farmers who were working their farms were killed, and the gruesome way they were killed, it does not just, justify it in any way. It doesn't speak so highly of what's going on. And, there's also the part of where they say that, some locals are being very careful. And, it brings me back to the discussion we had yesterday of where he said, where we were talking about people need to start giving, relevant information of what's going on around them, and then you were giving your own point of why you think that most people might not want to come out to give information. and they are saying that they obviously need the locals to help them with this information so that they can intercept these Boko Haram insurgents before they eventually carry out their attack. But now the question is, if these people are not speaking up, it means that you've not given them an environment. Yes, you've not given them an environment to speak. It means that they are still scared that if they speak, something is going to go wrong with them.
Definitely.
These are the questions that comes in the minds of a lot of people, and the fact that the insecurity level has increased. It's not a child's play anymore. It's something that we talk about like literally every time.
Yeah.
The rate of kidnapping has gone really high. Yesterday you were sharing with me one very interesting story of a guy who, I don't know if you can tell me that story.
What?
The one you were telling me about the guy who was kidnapped or something.
Okay, yeah. Yes, I think I told you then that the guy was actually on his way to coming back or going to visit his girlfriend. Then, and of course he's married, but they could not tell the family that they kidnapped him. I think on his way back he was kidnapped, and they couldn't tell his family that this guy was kidnapped. His friends had to gather money to pay his ransom, and they had to cut it. I think from 10 million they had to cut it down to 5 million for the friends to pay. Even though he was supposed to attend, he could not go for it because of the trauma that he actually experienced there. But none of his family members are telling him what happened at all, because he could not tell them what happened. And so this thing is just boiling down to what many things are actually going on there that we actually don't know, and people are still not speaking up because of some circumstances surrounding those factors.
All right, moving on. I think we should
talk about other stories. So that brings me down to this thing. Last Tuesday, South governors, lawmakers, and monarchs, also other leaders led by chairman of South Governors Forum, that's Governor Ifeanyi Ukoha, presented a 7-point demand which included restructuring and true federalism to the federal government through the chief of staff to the president, that's Professor Ibrahim Gambari, who led a federal government delegation to a consultative meeting with people of the zone. But of course, after that, a Niger Delta militant group that's Reform Niger Delta Avengers, RNDA, last week rejected the 7-point demand by the South governors, saying until they start paying 13% derivation directly to oil communities, that's when they will actually listen to these 7-point demands. But of course, while many have really slammed the militant group for the request, they considered outrageous. Others said RNDA was also right in its demands, as governors had frittered away derivation fund over the years. And of course, there were a lot of people who actually criticized them. Among them are the chairman of Traditional Rulers of Oil Producing Communities of Nigeria, also King Charles, and former provost of Marshall Nigerian Army. And of course, what some of them are saying, like King Ayemo, it says in the Delta State, Paramount, of course, the ruler of the kingdom, said it's callous, childish, and meaningless, lack sense of direction, and a complete sellout. That's the statement of RNDA. Also, King Ayemu Botu's position was, however, considered. It was countered by Emmanuel, who insisted that the militants are in order with their demands, and also he said that he will support that demand. And also we have injured people who also said that RNDA is capable of causing more trouble in the zone. So if you look at this, I think we started talking about this last week, where the South governors actually presented a 7-point demand to the presidency, and of course many people are actually expecting them to follow that 7-point demand. Although we've been talking about restructuring for a long time, and also many people talking about the true federalism. I think that true federalism actually started from when some leaders actually talked about it in the north and others, but with South governors saying it. But it seems like Niger Delta militant group are against it, saying that they don't want it. They have to start paying them 30% derivation before they can actually, before the presidency should listen to this 7-point demand. And it seems definitely every idea is people will be for it, and many people also will be against it.
It just speaks of
so definitely as in wala everywhere. But it seems while some are for it, some are even saying that both of them actually have their own rights. So the presidency should have a stand between both of them and listen to both of them, but look for a way to sort it out. It's just like when you say, you know, an elder talking to two children, and of course you have to stay there and know how to settle the matter between the both of them. So that's the matter. That's how, you know, the federal government needs to play it out right now, because definitely it's like people are really on the two sides, so they don't know who to follow.
All right, let's just focus more on insecurity, still on insecurity. And now the APC government has not done well. That's what the Senate spokesperson is saying. And the lawmaker representing Osun Central Senatorial District, that's Senator Bashiru Ajibola, yesterday took a swipe at the All Progressive Congress led federal government over the poor handling of the security challenges, saying it has not done well. And now, reacting to the massacre of farmers in Borno State by Boko Haram terrorists, Ajibola, who is the Senate spokesperson, restated his call for overhauling the country's security architecture and urged the executive to look into the property of retaining the service chief. Now, speaking on a radio program, he said that the federal government has not done well in securing the lives and properties of Nigerians. In his words, he says, I will say with all modesty, humility, that I am afraid and in line with my oath to the Constitution, our government is not doing well at all in the area of security. Section 14 of the Constitution stated that security and welfare should be the primary purpose of government. You will discover that security is even mentioned before welfare. A society that is not secure cannot talk about welfare. Administration, I am not blaming anybody. I am blaming us as an institution. We have not done well in the areas of security. Well, you know, a lot of people are speaking about it, different organizations, and now the Senate spokesperson Ajibola has come out to say that you know, the APC-led government isn't doing well in the areas of, you know, securing life and properties, and then security comes first before welfare. I mean, if you don't have life, how can you benefit from, you know, adequate water supply, good lights, good road? Because you need to be alive to benefit from those things. And you know, with the rate at which people are being killed, kidnapped, maimed in broad daylight, sometimes you walk on the road and you keep seeing dead bodies like everywhere. It's like there's nobody who is, you know, you know, why in that state of where people are really scared. You know, they're scared to come out, they're scared to be out so late. Everybody wants it before 6 or 7. Some people already have internalized a curfew time for themselves.
Yes.
Not even, they don't need the states or the government to give them a curfew. They've internalized the curfew for themselves, that okay, by some time I should be back home because I don't know what is going to happen to me outside. So it's you know, he's coming out to say that, let us speak the truth. You know, this government has not helped really, you know, in solving the insecurity situation of the country. And you know, like what I was saying yesterday, if we feel so overwhelmed as a country, the right thing to do is not to ask for help.
Definitely.
And you know, the calls for the sake of the service chiefs. Now, there's a lot of questions surrounding that. Okay, if we remove these people, how are we sure that the people who are going to put in,
will also perform better?
And you know, there's a faction of people who believe that let's remove them first, then we will know. The faction of, okay, that's another thing again. We don't know if we put these people in, if you know, things will get better for us. You know, that kind of thing. So that's it.
Okay, so the federal government is actually saying that they are planning to restructure. That's in terms of debt, and also so faced with mounting debt servicing obligations. The federal government is planning to push for debt restructuring, and that's come from the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Mrs. Lai Mohammed. Gave the indication. She said the current debt servicing obligations were taking too much of the nation's resources, especially at a time of low revenue generation. She did not give details of the restructuring, but noted that going forward, the government would focus on local borrowing and concessionary loans. And also, in order to improve federal government revenues, the minister disclosed that the administration will sell some public assets that have been lying dormant. She said the government will strengthen its public-private partnership, that's the PPP, policy with a view to giving private investors more opportunities to play greater roles in the provision of infrastructure in the country. And of course, according to Mr., the federal government is working to make it easier for mass transit buses to be imported into the country to reduce the cost of transportation, which impacts heavily on the rate of inflation. She stressed the need for peace and harmony across the country to enable the economy to exit a recession quickly. Many Nigerians are hoping that the first quarter of 2021 we should be able to get out of recession, but it seems that Nigerians are also not following through with the statement that selling the assets, the country's assets that are lying dormant. Many people are saying that why not this asset that you're saying that they are lying dormant? If you actually work on them, it will actually work for Nigerians for a long time instead of selling it out to people. And that's what that's the reactions I actually saw on social media. And I also talking about Nigerians living in peace and harmony, and hoping that they will be able to exit a recession. And they're saying, how can they live in peace and harmony in this state of insecurity that we're facing now? Just like we're talking about, where many people have to you just have to look at yourself, time yourself in order to be to get home early. And also when you're talking about going to the market to get many things, you just budget maybe 5,000. At the end of the day, you get there, you end up seeing that what you actually want to get is up to 10,000, and you just come back with just a little polythene bag, and you just want to get a sachet of maybe detergent, and you see that you're getting it for times 2 of how much it was before. So things are really getting expensive, but we just hope, like she said, this December Nigerians will live in peace and harmony. And
then it reminds me of this popular artist Davido yesterday. I think he took to his social media page where he was saying that now our dollar don't be 500 naira to a dollar, and it's like now for the country. And because at the end of the day, it's like people, look at what we're going through in the country. It's very hard for us. We still keep talking about how a lot of people are living below the poverty line, and 500 naira now is like no money really to us, because look at a dollar to a naira. It's so large. And it's just very sad. But then let's move on and talk about something very, very interesting.
Very interesting. When I saw waiting for that story that you just want to talk about now.
When I saw this particular story, I was moved because yesterday, you took the story of maybe a sport agency or an agri agency.
Okay, a particular agency actually submitted a form, a proposal to the sports minister, that's Solidari, that 81 million naira to cut grass. But I think we should talk about that story before we divert into that.
All right, but this one is not 81 million naira. This one is even much more than 81 million naira. Say 554 million naira for grass cutting.
Exactly.
Like grass
cutting. I think I need to enter into that business.
Okay, this is like the way money flies in the country. You wondering that just to cut grass, 554 million naira. Well, let's take the story, and that's the grass cutting scandal of EFCC rearranged ex-SGF Babachir Lawal, and the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission EFCC yesterday rearranged former secretary to the government of the Federation, and that's Babachir Lawal, before an Abuja High Court at Maitama over alleged complicity in grass cutting contract fraud to the tune of about 554 million naira. Now, Lawal, who served as SGF under President Muhammad Buhari between August 27, 2015 and October 30, 2017, entered fresh plea of not guilty to an amended 10-count charge the EFCC preferred against him and 6 others. Now, the ex-SGF was, among other things, alleged to have connived with other defendants and illegally diverted a contract the Presidential Initiative for Northeast Spine awarded for the removal of grasses in the internally displaced persons IDP camps to his own company. Now, meanwhile, the defendants who pleaded innocent to the amended charge read to them before trial Justice Charles Agbaza persuaded the court to retain the bail condition it earlier handed them. And then, it goes on and on and on. And then, you were paid 554 million naira, and then you diverted it to your own personal company.
Well, let's first talk about, let's forget the diverting. So it's like that diverting, people are not really surprised about it. But let's talk about the money itself. 554 million naira to cut grass.
For internal displaced persons.
Are you kidding me?
I mean, these people do not even have food to eat. They do not have food to eat. Then it's to cut the grasses around them. Please feed them before you talk of cutting the grass.
I'm just speechless. I really don't know what to say, because yesterday I was complaining about 81 million naira, and thankfully, of course, it's just so nice that the minister rejected that. But we're talking about 554 million. I think funny enough, we sat down there, we're just looking at calculating how much this money will actually do, how long, how far this money will go. Do you know what it will do for these people that you just wanted to cut, that you just want to cut the grass around them for that amount of money where they've not even fed? We're talking about people living below the poverty line, and we're talking about someone using 554 million naira to cut grass. Seriously, you pass the bill. You also have to talk about the person that actually accepted that this money should be used for that.
The thing is that they would have written a very huge proposal of how, I think that the way they see these things is that there's literally like IDP camps everywhere in the country. So the money might be for all the IDP camps in the 36 states. I don't know of Lagos IDP camps, but if we have any,
I actually don't know.
But they want to cut the grasses around and all those kind of things for 554 million.
The last time I knew that, someone took a person to cut grass, I think they got like 5 persons to cut the grass of like I think a place with like 5 plots of land, and they paid them 20,000 naira to cut that grass. So let's now talk about, try to calculate that.
What do you mean by 20,000? With the government, we deal in millions. We don't deal with in thousands.
Yeah, I understand that. I understand where you're coming from. So definitely, it's true. But of course, away from that, let's talk about what we're celebrating today. That's in UN Days, and that's the World AIDS Day. And of course, when you're talking about the World AIDS Day, you can always get that story. There's a good story of that on our website. But let me just give you a little tips of what it's saying. And also, talking about the COVID-19 pandemic, it seems a lot of people just, remove their attention, just got their attention away from, many of the diseases that were lying down. And that includes HIV/AIDS. So of course they've admonished the Nigerians to know their HIV status, and is confused. And of course they're convinced that that's doctors. They're convinced that the country has what it takes to control HIV and stop its transmission and death rates if people actually know their status within 1 year, that's their HIV. And of course it can be controlled if the testing issue is going to linger, because it's an issue that borders on people having the discipline to know their status and to take treatment. And people should continue to take treatment. People should continue to take this medication and to continue to subject themselves to periodic testing to see how this medication is helping to make the virus disappear. Of course, that's just a little of what it's saying. Many of the treatment, many things that you want to know about it. Of course, why United Nations is celebrating today, you can always get it on our website. Of course, this is always to promote, to educate people on what HIV and AIDS is, for people to actually be aware of it. Take it or leave it. Even though we are saying that many people actually have gotten information about many things, you still have people who don't know what it is. Of course, they need to enlighten them in rural areas. Of course, out of your own, out of your own generosity or whatever, you can just explain it to people and actually post it on your social media, and also just to encourage those who have been affected with the disease. And also, of course, like people say, they will tell you it's just a disease, it's not a life sentence. There's always a medication for it. And like this person is saying, if you actually know your HIV status within a year, you can actually cure yourself before it's actually goes to
all right, I think we need to take some comment before we move out, and it's the fact that this one is from Edo Erabo. It says this government is becoming unpopular by the day. This one is from Michael West. It says other countries in the world are producing their own weapons. You are here blaming who is not selling weapons to you. Well, I saw that part of the story, where they were speaking about the fact that they do not have access to weapons, because of the whole insurgency thing going on. So some countries are refusing to sell to Nigeria. And we'll take this one from from Folorusho. He says, what is or what are the sources of the insurgent weapons? You know, it has been a very big question. Who are the people who are supplying these people? I know the information minister, one of the things he mentioned was that you know, the Boko Haram insurgents is being, you know, supported globally. Now, can't we track these people? Is there not a system to be able to track who their sponsors are or where they are getting monies from? I mean, you know, there were reports before that there are aeroplanes that there are, you know, jets that come and, you know, bring foods to these people.
We have people in charge of our airspace.
Yes, how are these, you know, jets allowed to fly in the airspace and they're not tracked or something? So there's a lot of questions. And this one is from Prince. He says, how much have you really okay, I don't get what he's saying, but okay, let's see this one from Stephen Adam. He says, so sad, always referring to past government, nothing to offer. That's what he's saying. And this is from Prince. He said, okay, you know, I think, okay, it's from Osagi. He says, but you have resources to take care of your own pockets, Abi. And then I think I just saw one that says, Maxwell Williams says, our president has tried his best by sending Nigeria into recession 3 times while in office. Thank you, Mr. President. I don't know what it means by 3 times, but according to our records, we've just been in recession just twice in 5 years. But
yes,
then that's all we can take from the comment. Remember that you can equally like, share, and subscribe on all our social media platforms showing on your screen, as well as you want to find out what's going on with our insecurity levels. You want to find out about what Lai Mohammed is saying, and the rest of the news. You want to find out about debt restructuring. You can go on our website www.vanguardngr.com to find out more. Till I come your way next time, I remain Precious Chukudi, and I have with my co-host
Damdala Mushakin.
Thank you for watching. Have a lovely day.